Yeah, we kind of built a good relationship with the King's Fair at that time because that's where we were kind of doing our first few events. But then we always forget about an event that we did at the Tulare County Fair for 559 Fights 3.5, where
Right?
we actually had the show on the racetrack, but not even on the racetrack. It was kind of like in the breezeway of the racetrack. Do you guys remember that?
Well, the thing I remember most about this show was the sheriff looking for Joey
Yes.
Perez, and 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 the sheriff coming up is that Joey Perez. Yeah, well, we need to talk to him about an assault. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Joey ain't fighting. Nobody look at him up in the cage, and you know what I mean. So that's what I kind of remember from that event was the sheriff pulling me aside and looking for you and wanting to talk to you after the event for some fight that you supposedly got in but didn't get in.
I had no clue about what the sheriff was looking for. Like I was like, what? And then and when he even pulled me aside, he sounded like he was a little tipsy. I mean, I was kind of like, what's going on with this guy? But
Yeah.
I feel like we've dealt with security personnel, we've dealt with police officers. I mean, even in Tulare, I mean, they would just show up. Remember that? They would just be like, "We're here. We don't care."
Tasers out, ready to go.
And they would stand in front of our VIP tables.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and a lot of the incidents would happen because our customers would be like, "Hey, we can't see, man," and then all of a sudden you get a guy grabbed and he's pulled down to the ground.
Yeah.
Oh
100%.
man. Well, going into the promo videos, I mentioned it just a little bit. I feel like we had some good ones over the years. Mott's, Jeremy, even Antoine. If you ever saw our old promo videos, what were some of your favorites?
I mean, the best promo video of all time is a Little Pump video, dude. Like you guys went all out for Jace, like if he was the next star of the human world. Like, like if I would have watched that video back in the day and I was a kid, I'd be like, God damn, like who is this kid?
I just watched it recently.
If you can say one word about Jace, what would it be? Terrifying.
He had the most legit fight promo video, and he was only like what at that time? 13?
11, right?
11. I think he was 11.
11.
Yeah, he was 11. But like, what about all the outrage from parents and whatnot? How dare we let children fight in the cage? I remember all of that, dude. That was a whole another bag of drama. Like drama just followed us. I wanted to kick those parents' asses too, just for the record.
Yeah, and it's funny now, fast forward, 12, 13 years, and now there's youth MMA events that are televised live, and they're doing national tournaments and all this stuff. So yeah, there was other pancreation and youth MMA events going on at the time that weren't really spoken about or talked about. But I think our event with Jace was the very first one that like people were like, okay, we're really gonna watch it. Like even now when you Google his name, like that Sherdog interview and link comes up where it got a lot of steam. So it's just funny that was one of those, but that had to have been the best promo ever for sure.
No, for sure. I agree with
Definitely.
that too. Yeah, absolutely. I think we're good on voting with that one. So we were kind of starting to create a business structure. We were trying to figure out like with 559 Fights, where do we get office space? Like how do we hold meetings? I feel like most of our meetings were always held like at restaurants, and then like finally, I don't know, did you get the connect, Jeremy, with this office space in Fresno or Clovis? I don't know who had the connect.
No, actually, I can't remember if it was you or Mott's. One of you guys, that company actually sponsored us for a while. They were one of our sponsors, and then they ended up having some office space.
It was a storage
way out in Clovis, where none of us were close to. We don't have to drive like an hour and a half to get there.
Right.
It was the last exit off the freeway on the 168.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, that was interesting. We stored the cage there. We had an office there. I don't think Joey ever went to the office but once a month. And he had his own office, which was kind of weird. So yeah, I mean, me and Moss would always be there hanging out, and like there'd be no Joey, and we'd be like, "What the hell are we supposed to do?" Joey would never show up for any of the meetings.
He's just down the street though.
Yeah.
I'm on Shaw.
I'm on Shaw.
Yeah.
That was the best.
I mean, we had pretty intense discussions too in those office little conference rooms. Like they would like literally let us have the conference room like right at the entrance of the storage unit.
Yeah.
And I think there were times like we all three of us might have gotten into a fight over planning.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I think you put three alphas in a room together, you know what I mean? And you're discussing alpha shit. Like I don't think there was a meeting where one of the three of us didn't leave pissed off or damn near in tears from frustration of wanting to kill one of the other three of them.
Absolute facts right there. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I was talking about the King's Fair as a venue that we kind of like, used over the time of, the first 50 shows, but there were so many other venues like that we like utilized for the fights. And like, I feel like we were so innovative with like the venues that we were using. Like most people, they go, oh, what's the nearest auditorium? And we'll do an event there. But they never think outside the box. Like, oh, if there's space, we can do an event there. You know what I mean? I feel like
I'll tell you, one of my favorites was the Dome in Bakersfield with our boy Chencho. You guys fucked me. Remember him? Oh, dude, he was epic.
Yeah.
Absolutely epic.
I remember that conversation. We were leaving. I don't know if we were leaving, but I go, Chencho, hey, how was the show, man? He goes, you guys fucked me.
That was the best. That was the best. That was truly the best.
We just had a better deal than you, buddy.
That was so good.
No,
that was one of the things driving down memory lane. I thought about events like, and then Dinuba was another epic. Yeah,
that Dinuba Hall, and then the Golden State Mall.
There's your answer.
Yes. An actual mall. Okay, guys, let's paint the picture for everybody that does not know.
That wasn't a mall. That wasn't a mall. That was like a.
No, I don't know who accused him of being a mall, but you're right.
Yeah, that was not a mall. It was like a 3-story swap meet.
Yeah,
it was horrible.
But think about this: the lights of the building are literally like in the cage. Like I felt like a chandelier was in the cage.
Yeah. I mean,
didn't it have a banner? Didn't it have like a banner just like hanging off the side of the building, half-assed, that said Golden State Mall or something?
I think
have a sign.
Yeah, I think that was one of the first shows where I actually wanted to physically kill Joey because we were advertised for 2 months that we were doing a show in Hooters parking lot, and it was supposed to be branded with Hooters, and all this cool stuff was going on. And then like a week and a half before, Joey's like, we can't do the show at Hooters. And I'm like, what the hell do you mean we can't do the show at Hooters? Well, they don't have a liquor license. I'm like, oh my fucking God, dude. This is
Do you remember at the event, the Hooters girls, they couldn't even put the ring card signs up high into the roof so they would. Dude, that was epic.
We had a great relationship with Hooters in Bakersfield. Like they were, they obviously were a part of some of the events that we had even before that. But I want to give a detailed experience based on what Mats just said. Well, there's your answer. So I think all three of us were standing outside, and someone walked up with their kid. I think they're maybe about a teenager or something. They go, "Oh, the fight's tonight." And then she goes, "Is it free?" And we go, "No, it's $25 per ticket." And the lady goes,
"Mom,
well, there's your answer." And just pulled him off and said, "We're not going in there."
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty epic. All 3 shows in Bakersfield that we ever did were epically crazy. I can't believe that we even did a show, that third show, or was it? I don't remember if it was the second or third show, but in that little private bar that trucking
Old
company,
Creek, right? Old Creek.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So they had their company where they did stuff, and then like there was a private room where they built like a nightclub.
Yeah, it was just like a private bar basically back there with like a little room where they would do like dances and stuff like that. The cage barely fit. We had like 2 rows of chairs.
There were some characters that we dealt with at the venues. Like, let's talk about Lamore Rec. I mean, this guy's retired already, so I feel like I can talk about
God.
Lemoore Rec, I mean, like we had venue management or maybe just staff that ever worked at these venues that would just be upset or in a bad mood. You know, you ask them to move one thing, they start yelling at us, you know, just intense. Like I feel like we never got like staff that were just nice.
Yeah, I don't think we had staff that was really nice until we got with the Rawhide and we got with
Yes.
the convention center.
Yep. And
Yeah,
that's
I think all the time, all the other times, it was always a battle of like, oh, you're doing shit MMA. Like, we don't really want this here, but we'll do it. And they were just unhappy and miserable the whole time. And we were just happy to be doing doing shows anywhere we could. So it was like, I guess I'll just let this guy shit all over me because we need this venue.
like we did events at the Tower Theater. I mean, nobody had ever done something like that on the stage of the Tower Theater. Dealing with characters there too. Lawrence, he's gone. Apparently, the city of Fresno owns the Tower Theater now. But man, I mean, that was a crazy experience too. We did a couple shows there, about 3 or 4, right, Jeremy?
Yeah, we did a handful of shows at the Tower Theater. It was definitely fun. We had an entire cage built for that purpose of being on stages and stuff like that. So
That started at Club Rome, though.
Yes,
we started at
the
Club
nightclub.
Rome. Yep.
Yeah, that's 17.
Yeah.
We had to get the legs on the cage sanctioned by CAMO. Like, it wasn't just like, hey, build a cage, because we had to make shorter legs. We had to get that sanctioned. Like, there was a lot.
The problem was too, is we got shorter legs built, but they didn't build they built the actual longer legs too long, if you remember. So the cage was really narrow and it sat up high.
Yeah.
So when we did regular shows, people were hitting the cage, it would like slide and move back and forth.
Yep. Yeah, it was safe.
Oh man, I mean, we've had